Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'll be sharing some tips on how to pass the CFA Level 3 exam. I recently passed the exam and got the charter, so I'll be providing you with very useful tips if you're writing the CFA Level 3 exam anytime soon. So I have taken the CFA Level 3 exam back in February, and then back in April 2023, 2 months later, I got the news that I passed the exam. It was a very surreal experience in a way because I was not expecting it. Well, I was actually keeping my expectations low, but then I knew that I worked hard, that I was like, no, I need to pass this. I have put so much hours, I have sacrificed so many things that I really have to make sure that I'm passing this. So in April 2023, I passed the exam and then I got the charter. So it was a very surreal experience. And even now, sometimes I have to pinch myself and tell myself that no, you don't have to study today. And it's a very beautiful experience. So I'm going to share with you some tips on how to pass the CFA Level 3 exam. So first of all, I want to congratulate you if you have come this far, and if you are watching this video, it's probably because you're writing the CFA Level 3 exam. It's not an easy journey, it's a very long one, and this is how it's meant to be, because when you sign up for the CFA program, you have to think of yourself as a warrior. You are fighting against the average, and you have to make sure that you beat everyone, that you beat the average so that you can make it to the last level and get the charter. So when I took the CFA Level 3 exam, there were a couple of things that I did slightly differently than CFA Level 1 and CFA Level 2. So first of all, I am someone who doesn't like to read school books, but for the CFA Level 3, I actually did read the curriculum. So unlike CFA Level 1 or CFA Level 2, where probably you don't need to open the curriculums, probably you don't need to go over the readings, I would say that with the CFA Level 3, this is one thing that you absolutely want to do. You do want to open the books, you do want to go over the readings, you do want to do the problems within the readings, at the end of the readings, and that's so important. Because one thing that you must know about taking the CFA Level 3 exam is that when you have signed up for the CFA Level 3 exam, and when you see the problems, you will see that one thing that makes it so different from the other exam is that you have to portray yourself as a portfolio manager. You have to portray yourself as an investment advisor. And so when you will see from the practice problems, that you will see that all the questions they ask are more like, what would a portfolio manager do if they're facing this type of situation? So you really have to see yourself as a portfolio manager and be able to basically link everything that you have learned in Level 1 and Level 2 and everything that you have done in the curriculum of the CFA Level 3 to see if you can combine all this and apply them in a case scenario. So that's how it's going to be. And so I highly recommend that you open the books. I highly recommend that you go over the readings. You don't need to read each line like word by word, but I do suggest that you understand on a high level what they are asking. And I do highly recommend that you do the problems within the curriculum. So you're gonna have some embedded like examples. I highly recommend that you do them, because you will be able to see, okay, like this is what they might ask, or this is how the exam question may be. Like, you know, it could be anything, but I think when you're reading the embedded problems, I think it helps you to see if you have understood actually what you have read in the curriculum. So that would be my first tip. The second tip is that I know that some people, when it comes to studying for the CFA exams, they usually do probably 6 months of preparation, or they do way less than that, like 2 months. I highly recommend to do a little bit more than 6 months. I actually did, I would say that I did between 6 to 10 months of preparation, or 6 to 9 months of preparation, 6 being the minimum. But I would say that the sooner you can start, the better it is. because I think that the people who are taking the CFA Level 3 exam and they say, okay, I'm gonna just study in 4 months, I don't think it's enough. I honestly don't think it's enough, especially because probably these people are not working, they don't have a full-time job, or they don't have other commitments, and every person's life, every situation is different from one another. So I highly recommend that you put the hours. It's your last exam. Why do you want to like blow everything just because you don't want to study, or you just want to like do other things? It's your last exam, your last sweat, so why not put the required amount of hours to make sure that you're passing the exam? So I highly recommend that the sooner you can start, the earlier you can start, the better it is. So I highly recommend doing like at least 6 to 9 months of preparation. Then the other thing that I feel like everyone talks about, but I actually didn't think it was so important, but I do think it's very important, is that when you're practicing, you want to make sure that you're timing yourself. Because when it comes to giving the CFA Level 3 exam, is that one of the biggest challenge is not a lack of preparation, is actually not being able to finish the exam on time and to answer every single questions. And I would say that's probably the biggest struggle. You will not face this in level 1, you will not face this in level 2, you will probably face this in level 3. And I think everyone talks about it, and I don't think a lot of people take it seriously. Because when it comes to taking CFA Level 3 exam, you will challenge a lot with the time. And you want to make sure that you practice well enough, that you time yourself well enough at home to actually see if you're able to answer all the questions in time and if you're able to finish the exam. And that's so important, because a lot of people fail the exam not because they were not prepared, they didn't study. They probably studied for like a year, or like they studied 10 months or whatever. It's because you're not able to finish the exam. And you want to make sure that when you're doing the mock exam that we're giving you, that you actually time yourself all the time, and you see if you can actually answer whatever they're asking you in the allocated time. They will propose sometimes, and make sure to stick to that. So it's very, very important. The fourth tip that I have is, of course, practice. And I think when it comes to practice, like, I don't think I can emphasize enough how important this is, and this is important for each level. And I think people sometimes overlook the importance of practice. They tell themselves, okay, I'm watching videos, I'm taking notes, I'm like, reading and stuff, but it's not enough. I think you are able to master a topic only when you practice. So my suggestion is that, yes, practice every day, practice as much as you can, but also if you do a mistake, don't get yourself down. I think it's important to do a mistake, and I think we actually do learn a lot from mistakes, and that's so important. So even if you do a mistake, you will learn from it, and I think you will observe it better than if you didn't do the mistake. So it's important that you go over the mistakes. Highly suggest that if you do the mistakes, it's not the end of the world. I think it's probably a good thing, because it will give you time to actually understand and go back to what you were lacking. And the last tip that I have is that another challenge with the CFA Level 3 is that you'll be given command words. And I think people don't pay attention to the command words, because when you're answering a question, they will tell you, okay, describe, they will tell you explain, they will tell you identify, and you have to follow what they're asking you. Like, if they're not telling you to identify and you're explaining, or let's say they're telling you to identify and you're explaining, then you're losing the point. And these are easy points. So I think it's important to study as much as you can, but I think it's important to follow the instructions. So when you are doing the mock exam, I highly recommend that you understand what the command words is, and that's how you save time in the exam. It's not you writing like pages and pages of like answers, writing huge paragraphs. No, it's actually making sure that you're answering whatever they're asking you, and that's the only way that you will be able to save time, finish the exam, answer everything they're asking you, and that's how you will be able to succeed. So these are all of my tips. Hopefully this was very useful. If you have any questions, or if you have any comments, make sure to leave it in the description or in the comments below, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.